Another Sunday, another case of the Scaries to start work week. Welcome to the newest edition of the Sunday Scaries, where we have all your gore, lore, and more, covering all the latest horror happenings, slicing open all the latest horror news, and dissecting it bit by bit, finding all your juicy innards. Pour yourself a nightcap and turn your fright light while we take you on a tour of terror. Oh, look at us. Oh, Adrian has finally joined the trio. Look at this. Not the guy in the corner anymore.
Yeah,
I'm
I
not
guess
bottom anymore. Well, I'm
not
still
in the
bottom guy, but I'm not bottom corner guy anymore.
He's still a power bottom, though.
Yeah,
he's still doing his
Regardless.
best. Gotta say also, we don't know what's wrong with Adrian's camera. For some reason, he has the credentials to StreamYard just like us, and he's never had a problem signing in. For some reason, he had to sign in today, and we don't know what's going on with this. So we were just like, all right, Adrian is in black and white today. So there you go.
It, man. It's kind of like haunting, it kind of fits the vibe we're going
it's spooky
for here.
season. That is
I'm
correct.
Scared.
It is spooky season. All right, I'm going to pop down here just to see the immediate reactions here, and then I'm going to come back because there's a couple of great questions that have already been asked by you lovely folks in the chat. But how we doing, gentlemen? How's the weekend going?
Oh, it's been a wild one, man. It's been a wild one. My homies are down visiting me. I helped them record stuff. And, I built up this vocal booth back here. So really stoked about that.
Hell yeah. Yeah.
I have no one visiting me. I'm just kind of lollygagging around as per usual. But, just work on a couple things. We got a little bit of a new segment here on the channel, which I just completed earlier today because we love to meet those deadlines right at the very end. So should be interesting.
Yeah. We're not the best at that, but we are getting better.
We're getting
have
better.
to. I think certainly it's been a transition, but I feel really good. The only thing that I also wanted to bring up tonight is Splatterthon is obviously happening this month again. I for some reason had it in my head that it's October 1st is a Sunday, so I'll just announce it on the Sunday Scaries, and then I realized earlier this week that's not right. So I don't know where that happened. So we're going to show off that logo tonight and everything and kind of get into a little bit of what you can expect. It's going to be a bit looser this year. We're going to have a lot more fun. I think we're going to just really stretch our legs a little bit with some of these concepts that we've talked about and have been wanting to do. And yeah, I'm just I'm real excited to show you some of these. You got to see a snippet of that. Some of you did for the VHS video I just did. Just a little augmentation to the standard list content, but I had a lot of fun with that. That was super cool.
It always Fantastic Fest always bleeds into Splatterthon, so it just becomes such a blur already getting into October because we had a handful of reviews go out last week throughout the week.
Like 4.
Yeah, and so we had a lot of catching up to do with screeners. It seemed like we got a ton of screeners after Fantastic Fest, so we had a ton of stuff to watch. We still have a couple things that we got to wrap up, and we have the big roundup video coming out as well. So
already shot that. I'm editing it as we speak, so that'll be out probably Tuesday.
Yeah, very, very busy week.
Yeah, it's been nuts. It's been fun, but also it's been great to see all the stuff that you folks have been getting into. I am a lurker in the Discord, as well as I've been finally getting back around to hopping back on Patreon and actually starting to do stuff. I have a post going up probably tomorrow. I think I set it for just going over basically what's been going on and then just kind of what my thoughts and feelings are for that video where I'm going to have everybody's suggestions. I think I'm going to put one more round of suggestions up just so that way anybody who's joined who didn't see that previous post can hop in, but I've saved all the others. So I'm excited though. I think that video is going to be loads of fun. I already have everything. I have 6 movies already. So if anybody suggests anything new, it's just going to kind of be picking one of them for me. But yeah, I have everything ready to go here in a folder to watch so far. And yeah, I'm not looking forward to a couple of them. There's a few that I've been avoiding on purpose. So lots of fun.
Now you get to check those boxes, Dylan.
It's going to be... It's going to be bittersweet, probably a lot more bitter, but definitely fun, I think. Also,
glimmers of sweetness, but
yep. Which also is why I think you're going to get a lot of weird videos from me too, kind of like the VHS one, a little bit more creatively liberating videos, maybe an essay or something. Just because when I do these disturbing videos, they can be kind of heavy. And I already know with some of the picks that it's like the subject matter is just all shit that I hate. So it's just going to be one of those things where it's just like I'm going to have a heavy couple of days of watching all that and recording my reactions. So that's going to be a really tough week. But we're going to fill it up all on the outskirts here with spooky season stuff. Like my wife literally tonight is not watching the show. She went to a haunted house. I was very jealous. I wanted to go, but I did not want to abandon my post and leave it up to you guys, of course, because yeah, it's gonna be fun. I'm excited to get into all the festivities.
Now, what haunted house are we going to?
She went to one in Medina. I don't know what it's called. I didn't catch the name.
They had like Haunted Woods or something like that out there in Medina.
That one.
Oh,
they had one of those over at Cedar Point.
Mm-hmm.
I remember.
Yeah, Cedar Point always does their. They always do their spooky stuff up there. They call it something. I remember the ads from like listening to local radio stations after school and stuff with like my parents and things. So it's like I always remember them, showing it off. But what is that called? I forget. It's like Haunted Horror Nights Universal, but for Cedar Point.
It used to be really popular back in the day. I assume it's still popular. I never went. I never was really a big haunted house person. I think us doing the channel and really doubling down on the horror stuff, I think I need to actually make it a point to go to a couple haunted houses.
See,
if a guy randomly gropes me or something. I don't know.
Yeah, man. I try to get all about haunted houses and stuff when I was in my high school years a little bit. Earlier on in high school, maybe like even middle school or whatever. But
we did.
Okay. I barely remember, man. It's all hazy.
We went the first 2 years, I'd say we went with a couple of people. And like Jeffro went that one time. Because remember, Jeffro, this is our other friend who's been buddies with us forever. He was, I think, probably 15, almost 16 at this point. And okay, no, I'm dating him a little bit further. That was when he went to his first haunted house. When he was like, I want to say 14, he started watching like horror movies, like for the real first time. He's always like too afraid to watch shit. But we kicked him off with the best one possible. Evil Dead 2013 in theaters. So like that's a real, I know a lot of you seasoned vets in the chat here are going to be like, oh, that's a great one. But like, you got to think for somebody who's like never really even watched like a Friday the 13th movie before or a Halloween movie before, it's like that's a lot to throw somebody into the deep end with. But he took it in stride. He's one of the biggest horror fans in my friend group, so we share that.
Yeah, no kidding, man. My fiance is terrified of haunted houses, so I'm probably gonna have to pop out to some solo just with some homies this year.
Have you been down in Tennessee since you've been in Tennessee to any haunted houses, anything like that?
No, not at all, man. I don't know where anything's at. I mean, really, I'm just being lazy. I just need to go look. I know they're around here somewhere.
You got to go search for it, Adrian.
Or just come to Ohio. We're the haunted house capital of the world.
Yeah. What do y'all have? Like 139 registered haunted houses or something?
There's a big old map that you can find online that does that. I did want to reference a couple people here in the chat. Obviously, everybody coming in, but Gannon had a great thing here. I love when people do this because I always make it a goal. I've said it a few times where on Halloween night, I try to watch a new horror movie, something I've never seen before, whether it's a classic or whether it's something that just came out or whatever. But he's got his goal here of just watching one scary movie a day for the entire month. I've done that one before as well. That can get a little exhausting after a while because you feel like you have to be on there, but maybe it's just me. I love that though. I think that's great. And so far they've watched The Coffee Table, The Babadook, VHS Halloween, In a Violent Nature, and Starry Eyes. So quite
that's a few lineup right there.
Quite a few heavy hitters in there. Yeah. Definitely a very like widespread, but I gotta say I applaud you for that. Because normally when I set out to do that, I tend to fall into I guess old habits die hard. Like especially if I watch if I start with like Halloween 4, and then I go and I watch Halloween, and then Halloween 2 and 3, and then I feel like I need to watch the rest of the series. So then I go into that, and then I'm like, well, I'm already here. I'll watch the Rob Zombie ones, and then hey, you know what, David Gordon Green, let's give it another spin. Maybe I was too harsh, and I never am, but there we are.
I've been trying to, I guess accidentally, I've been watching a lot of things that I haven't, I guess new horror, because I watched the VHS films. I watched, I think, starting off October 1st and 2nd. And then Mother of Flies was another one that I watched. So it's kind of been a lot of new horror journey for me accidentally. But I did watch Cobweb in there as well. So I've kind of had a horror movie every day, but Cobweb is a classic revisit. I think a mandatory viewing.
Well, yes, absolutely. I think that one is definitely that. And then what's that other one? Dark Harvest.
Dark Harvest. I haven't watched
Another
that one.
great one.
I haven't revisited that since we did that review. I need to really go back and watch that because I was
So
so
good.
excited for that one, because I think it got pushed back like a full year, and then didn't even realize it was coming out until like 2 days before.
Well, because it got its theatrical release pulled. Remember, it was supposed to be theatrical, and then they just were like, we're just going to toss it on streaming, and like everybody just started talking about it. Like that was one of my favorites. That like just kind of, it was funny because like it felt like it came out of nowhere for me, and then I mentioned it to you. Like I am like 100% certain Luke has no idea what this movie is. And then he's just like, yo, wait, that came out? And I'm like, boys had a tracker on this thing for years now, I find out. And it's like, damn, we're going to have to get this. And we bought that shit and watched it. So just outright, $20.
My gosh. That
was worth it.
Certainly I'm watching this week. I have to.
Does it have a physical release?
I don't think it does. Not that I know of, which
we're
is
gonna have to look
travesty,
into
that is correct.
We're going to have to check that out. Anyway, what's up, Violet, Stephanie? What's going on? I know I put it up there, but what's going on, Erica? Shot by Shot. Welcome, welcome. What's happening? What's happening? I'm going to be editing while watching. Hey, heck yeah, man. That's the best way to do it. I appreciate it. I try to do that myself. Sometimes my ADHD doesn't let me, though. I tend to have to just kind of focus. Let's
just like zone out on the pod, zone out on the project here and there.
What's up, Penelope? What's going on? And then I see we just had a lot of conversation. I'm just going to jump around here, make sure I'm getting everybody. Necro, what's happening? Welcome, welcome. And then we got the Rio 22 with his new channel. What's going on, bud? Welcome, welcome. Gory Tiger, Paula, what's happening, everybody? And yeah, Stacy. And let's see, Mama Mayhem. Mr. Boone. I'm trying not to miss anybody now because like I've kind of committed myself to this. But yeah, no, I think we're good there. Oh, and Silhouetted, of course, already popping in here with a donation. Thank you, sir. Thoughts on extremely bleak dramas like Lords of Chaos, Bully, and Super Dark Times. I actually love Lords of Chaos and Super Dark Times. I think those are super good. I have not seen Bully yet. It is
I love
something
Bully.
I have to.
I am a huge Nick Stahl fan, and that probably comes from Terminator 3, to be honest. But that one, it like Silhouette said, it is so bleak. It's so haunting. I guess it's just the story around it. I don't want to dive too deep into it, Dylan, since you haven't seen it, but it is. I think it's based on something real, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly, and I think that's why it kind of hit the way that it does. But definitely check out Bully. It's a really great story, and by that I mean you're going to be so depressed after you watch it.
See, when I started doing those movies I'll never watch again, that one has been constantly recommended because I put like kids and stuff like that on there. So it's one of those things where it's like I know I'm going to have to get around to it at some point. Like one I had just recently watched. It's going to be on a future list, so it's kind of a spoiler, but was Ken Park. Was just a couple of years ago, because I'd always heard that one was rough, but I always forgot about it. And yeah, it's got some stuff in there. I don't think it's as rough as people made it out to be, but they rarely ever are. Yeah, unless you're talking about the real extreme shit. But yeah, this is definitely one of those ones where it's like I could see why this upsets some people. Other ones are like Elephant. Have you seen that one?
Yes, I've seen it. I haven't seen Ken Park though. So that one I'm gonna have to put on the watch list. Or are you saying that Ken Park's not as
Oh no, definitely check out Ken Park. It's got a reputation, but I just think like I heard like a ton of ton of stuff about it, like saying that
Oh,
it's
okay.
super messed up, and I'm just like, oh, I don't know about that. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm just becoming desensitized. I keep watching all these terrible,
You're
terrible
subjecting
things.
yourself to all this stuff. It's just like, oh, you're becoming an edgelord, Dylan.
Oh
I was
no.
wondering about that, man. Because like, yeah, I'm not watching as many movies as you guys, but it's getting to the point where I'm like, I'm never jumping. I don't feel the suspense anymore. It's just really entertaining, though. I still really love it, but yeah, it just doesn't like wig me out like it really used to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's. I think like that's one of the harder things too. I think of just being horror fans is like you very rarely, and I'd say probably more so since we started the channel and we watch all kinds of movies for reviews and stuff. Like very rarely did I ever find movies that actually scared me or actually made me jump or feel kind of any real tension that I didn't already know about. But like as like shit's gone on and like when you're just watching horror movies constantly day in day out, like we have definitely found some hitters. I always talk about Infested, that movie. For like 90% of it, I'm creeped the fuck out by those spiders, and I didn't think I was afraid of spiders. So
Yeah, when you really spread your wings, especially having the channel, and I guess you'd say being forced, that's probably a terrible term because a lot of the horror that we watch is great. But like making it a point to actually go check out different kinds of horror, you really see how versatile tension can be. It's like when you're going to the theater, sometimes, general audience horror that everyone goes to see, the Conjuring films, things like that, it can kind of get repetitive. We're all kind of
Inoffensive too.
anticipating those certain jump scares, but like Dylan brings up Infested, that film, you never look at shoes the same way from it, and it's like how intriguing was that in terms of a concept to really build that tension and how just off-putting it can be, and being able to check out films like that, it really opens up a new aspect of horror for you. So I think always especially diving into something that is like disturbing, and watching like a film like Grotesque for me, and there's a point in there where
yeah.
it gives those characters hope, and I was like, oh my gosh, like that is like on another level of terrifying. So when you really get into a lot of the disturbing stuff, it really hits. I mean, obviously it hits on the gore level, but it hits on a whole new psychological level, I think, as well.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, and it's one of those things like because I compare Infested directly to like Arachnophobia. I love Arachnophobia. I've always loved Arachnophobia, and it's never given me that same feeling. I know it does for some people, but it's one of those movies where it's like I think just that because the tone is so vastly different, where it's just like it is a fun 80s like kind of like a Silver Bullet or a Monster Squad. It's like a small town horror film with a crazy concept. The Blob, it's like it fits right along in there, and I think like that's just probably why I felt like it's more of a safer spider movie to me. Because then like I watch, like I said, Infested, and it's just like unlocks this whole new level of just terror that I just really didn't believe I had in me, and that's why I think I rate that movie so highly. I think it's just still over the last few years, like that, When Evil Lurks, there's like certain movies that we've gotten to see, like Oddity and Caveat, are excellent. Just movies I'm really glad that I got to check out just because we've been doing this and we're talking to all these people and everybody here and all that, and who are always recommending stuff. I'm always finding little things. It's honestly too much at times because like I feel like I'm never watching enough.
Especially venturing out into like a lot of foreign horror as well,
Oh
just
yeah.
because it's such a different tone for that. And it's like The Uncle, when we watched that, was that our first Fantastic Fest?
Yes, it was.
And what an
Thank you for checking it out.
off-putting film, and it just opening up a new avenue, saying, oh, this is really the potential of what a lot of foreign horror can do, and diving into things like Japanese horror, French extremity, things like that. And it's like, my gosh, they really have a great handle on what can really get crazy in terms of horror, and really just venture out into really things that I never really experienced until I was like, okay, let me sit down and really make it a point to watch some French films or Japanese. And my gosh, it's when we talk about unlocking new levels of terror, it's like Japanese, South Korean, it's like all this stuff is
South Korea is like really good at actually making scary stuff.
yes. Yeah, I would say South Korean and Japanese horror, they really, especially when it comes to like supernatural films, I just checked out one for Fantastic Fest, The Curse, and that's going to be in our roundup video that's coming out this week. Really is able to encapsulate a lot of tension in terms of like sometimes when I talk about general audience horror, it's jump scare after jump scare, and there isn't really a lot of great tension built up. But like that film does it well, and I think a lot of South Korean, a lot of Japanese horror really do build a lot of great tension when it comes to supernatural. That isn't just a jump scare. They do have those, but it's not always just jump scare after jump scare. They're really telling a story and really building that tension. So when we do get to those scares, it means a lot more.
Oh yeah. And like I definitely agree with you on that. I think like we always talk about Australia, how Australia is just good with like really gritty, brutal stuff. Like
Yeah,
it's been great. Like I love venturing out and seeing what other countries and other cultures bring to horror, because it's like it's all so different. It's like it's all so unique.
Like
And
kind
then
of
yes,
speaking.
good.
Oh, sorry. I was gonna say, kind of speaking on the cusp of accidental horror. I'm like half Russian, so my mom used to show me all these like Russian cartoons from like the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s growing up. And dude, talk about uncanny valley. So much of it was so terrifying, and it made me think. There must be something about like, I don't know what they were growing up with or something at the time that these things were made. Everything was just so grim, gloomy, and the music was always creepy, even though it didn't mean to be. So I don't know. That's just where that took my mind right there.
It's like Lavender Town and Pokemon. It's like you just walk in there and suddenly it's just spooky vibes all the time. That music gets to you after a while.
Dude, 10,000%.
Kids is a movie you won't ever watch again. What? Kids is awesome 90s movie. Kids is great. It's fantastic. And I say that in my video. It is one that I definitely can say I won't go out of my way to watch again, because it is one that just like really gets under my skin. Like I think it is, I said in my video there, I think it's like one of the most important movies to show like adolescents, like people who are like freshmen in high school. It should be mandatory that they watch that movie, because that is like going to literally like that will rock you to your core. I saw it around that time, and like that just was one of those things where I'm like, fuck, like this is no joke. Like you'll start to kind of take life, I feel like, a little bit more seriously once you watch that movie, because it's so raw in its depiction, and it's dark. It's a really dark movie, but a great one. And yeah, it's just not one I'm gonna throw on if I can help it. And let's see here. Bully's pretty bleak. I remember reading that story. It's a story too, so I'll have to check that out. Or is it based off of an actual like true event?
I think it's based off. Let me look it up.
Because I know some of these
I believe when I
mixed.
watched it, they said it was based off a true event, but I haven't seen it in at least 5 years, so I can't say 100%.
Yeah. I love this. We have two opposing sides here. Clockwork Orange is a good rewatch. Elephant drags too much for me. And then Mr. Boone coming in. Just watched Elephant, such a good film. Watch the Polytechnic Made in My Providence. Yeah, it is one that is very effective, and honestly, like kind of just shocking that it came out when it did. Because it's like it feels like that would be a movie you'd see in like the early 2000s, as opposed to, shortly. Not like, I think it was, how many years after Columbine was that movie? Because I think like that was a huge inspiration for Elephant.
Yeah, it was certainly. Let me see. That one came out in 2003, so it was like 4 years.
Oh, so it was the early 2000s. I thought, for some reason, I thought that movie was 98.
No.
Okay.
Yeah,
I don't know.
That was heavily influenced. Is it?
I thought Columbine was like 2002 for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was late 90s, I believe. 99, maybe?
Yeah. So
I'm sorry, yeah. Erica. I didn't mean to talk about spiders for so long. I'm so sorry.
And then Bully is based off a true event. Penelope even confirmed in the chat there. Yeah, it looks like 1993 was an event that Bully's based off of. So,
mm-hmm.
And I don't know how you guys feel, but it's like when you get into the true events, especially, even if they're not as disturbing as something that you watch that is like really gore filled, because it's like, oh, that's absolute fiction. But then when you have something that is based off a true event, and it might not be as gory, but you can kind of be like, oh my gosh, this actually happened to someone. That hits on a way different level of disturbing, because it's like, wait, people are actually capable of doing something like this. When I did that documentary, that disturbing documentary list, it was like, my gosh, I think just feeling exhausted mentally after watching all the things that had went down and being able to see those scenes of massacres that have happened. It's like, my gosh, the human capability is just it gets depressing after you watch some things like that.
Yeah, there's some like that's one thing that I do want to do my own disturbing documentary list. I have watched a few of them since doing these disturbing videos, and I've never included a documentary on one of the lists. And it's like I want to just kind of save them all for their own particular list because they are very different. Like the subject matter hits on a very different level. So it's one of those things for me where it's like I gotta give that kind of its own respects, I feel like, when I get into it. But I've seen some stuff that's like really just like morbid. And it obviously, I think I can't beat around the bush too hard. It all has to do with Unit 731. That's the gotta love that. Yeah, it's considering Man Behind the Sun, I've talked about a couple times now. That's a heck of a movie. That is another one that like I wouldn't subject myself to on a regular basis, but I also think it's a super, super important movie.
There are just some. There is one that I never included it in mine, and I'm not sure how to pronounce it. It's a '60s documentary. Came out in 1967. It's like Titicut Follies. I'd have to watch it to get the exact pronunciation of it, but it's just like they're like in a institution for mentally ill people, and it's like just the way that they're treated and the way mental illness is approached in the 60s. I mean, they actually have a dead body that they show in there. It's like just a straight corpse, and they're doing things to it, and it's like, my gosh. And it's not even from a disturbing aspect. It's legitimately them thinking that this is the right approach to mental illness. It just is absolutely exhausting to watch it and think at a certain time in place, this is where we were at as a society. And it just, again, just hits you on a completely kind of depressing level to know that these people actually went through this. And it's like, this is only a moment in time in these people's lives that they were able to capture on camera. And it's like, after the camera stopped, these people went on living through these instances throughout the rest of their life. And this was just their life. It's just like, my gosh, sometimes that stuff is just so morbid.
Yeah, it's there's plenty of them. One that always gets recommended to me that I also think is super impactful is Dear Zachary.
Yeah.
That's one that just like it hits you like a train. I saw that one years ago because of Mr. Gigi's video on it, and it's just like one of those things where it's like that has always just like been a haunting one. And then let's see, we got Junk in the Trunk says Children of Darkness is a pretty disturbing documentary. Gotcha. Nice. Thank you. And
I haven't
then
seen that one.
12 and Holding. I've never heard of that, but I'm gonna check it out. I'm very, very curious. Yeah, Man Behind the Sun. That definitely, yeah, that's pretty awful. But we can lighten it up a bit. We don't have to talk too much about the gross, icky stuff. We could talk about something that's like really awesome that's happening soon. And it's in the news. So Luke, take us away with the first story, sir.
Well, as advertised, Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein had a trailer release online this week. As we're approaching its release date, November 7th on Netflix, as well as it's getting a limited release in October there. I think October 17th is the date there. Man, star-studded cast with this one. Oscar Isaac, Jacob Elordi, Mia Goth, Christoph Waltz. This one is really highly anticipated, at least for me. Guillermo del Toro is always anticipated anytime he's coming out with anything. So as volatile as the Universal monsters have been over the past very long time, I guess. I can't even put a timeline on it.
They're all good. Just stop.
They're all fantastic. Wolfman is great. But no, we enjoyed Wolfman actually, but a lot of people did not. But I'm excited to see what this is going to look like. Restoring some prominence, I think, to the Universal monsters. I know maybe I'm putting too much stock in this one, but I think a lot of people might enjoy this one.
Oh, I think this is going to be just seeing this trailer, and I didn't honestly want to watch a trailer for this. It was only because you brought it up as a topic, and I was like, okay, I will do it, because if you want to talk about it, I want to talk about it. It's like, all right, I have to do it. And I just watched it, literally waited before we started here, so probably about 2 minutes before you hopped in the call, Luke. Oh my god, this movie looks incredible. This is going to be this year's Nosferatu. I get the same vibes, the same
Yep.
energy. The thing that I am honestly shocked by and just completely taken aback, and we haven't seen much of him, is Jacob Elordi as Frankenstein. The voice. Oh my god, I did not expect that. Because like, if you know the original like lore and the original story of Frankenstein, that's a very dark story.
Yeah.
With a lot of very twisted revenge, like twists and turns. And this looks like they're going to be extremely faithful to that. And I am so excited. Just the imagery of him in the snow with all of those layers. I hope they give him the dog sled and everything. It's like, I cannot wait to see that showdown on the ice. Now, knowing Guillermo del Toro, it's going to be probably a bit bigger than it was in the book. And I don't necessarily remember if they actually shot guns at Frankenstein's monster on the ice. I don't think they did, but you know what? I'm fucking here for it. Guillermo del Toro, you have my heart. I'm ready for this. I'm excited.
I'm in total agreement that I think this is this year's Nosferatu, where Nosferatu was so highly anticipated. It was kind of a retelling of a story we've seen throughout decades upon decades. It's been just ingrained in the DNA of horror for so long. And I think Frankenstein really getting this shot here in terms of how prominent this film's going to be, how much gravitas it will have. I think just being able to see this trailer and knowing Guillermo del Toro is behind the lens on this one, it looks absolutely beautiful. It looks so exciting. And it wasn't something I've never actually read Frankenstein, the novel itself. As soon as I knew the synopsis here, I went and looked up, what the actual concept was. And I love this tale. I love that it feels like that they're pulling so much from the actual novel itself, because it is such a different experience than a lot of the other iterations of Frankenstein that we've seen. And that's what I'm most excited about. I mean, you have this cast that is just absolute star power, that each one, anytime we do a review, these names get pulled out as, oh my gosh, what a role, what emotion they brought. And to have just this cast all working together and Guillermo del Toro calling the shots here, I am absolutely excited for this one, because it's going to have such a great atmosphere. I think just being able to see that trailer, I'm excited to see what they're going to bring. And like you said, I don't know exactly what Guillermo del Toro is going to take creative liberties with, but I have no hesitation with him. His track record, we all know it. Being in the horror space, he has so many wins and not many losses at all. So I'm excited to see what he's going to do, even if he ventures off and strays away from what we get from the novelization. I think that's completely fine, because, hey, we got to make a case for this being told, a retelling of it through the lens. So I'm really excited to see what he's going to do. I was already sold before we had a trailer, but now it's pure excitement.
Yeah, I was actually just curious. I'm looking at it now. I was like, does Guillermo del Toro even have a miss on his that I would even classify as a
Not
miss?
that I can think of right now.
Yeah, I'm like going through, and I kind of like all his movies, like at least in some form or another. I think, like, I guess if Pacific Rim didn't work for some of you, okay, a lot of people did not like Crimson Peak. I think that is wrong. I think that movie's great.
I enjoyed that one as well.
Yeah, and I heard nothing. The only one of his that I have not seen is Pinocchio, and I've heard nothing but great things, and I'm going to.
I haven't seen Pinocchio either, actually. So yeah, that's one I'm going to have to cross off my list. But to me, he doesn't have. I'm looking through this as well. I don't think he has a miss for me.
Yeah, I mean, like, looking at his filmography, dude, like it's so varied and so vast, but it's also just like it's all like good stuff. Like I really can't hate, like, even going back to his, like, first few movies, like Kronos, like that's such an interesting vampire movie. The Devil's Backbone's actually a very creepy movie, but like Pan's Labyrinth, dude.
Have you seen Mimic?
Oh yeah, Mimic. I love
Yeah,
Mimic.
Mimic's great. I think people are starting to talk about that one a little bit more, but I remember ages ago I ended up buying like the digital for Mimic because I had never seen it, and I was like, how is this film not talked about enough?
I really think, like, in my opinion, I think like probably priority watching for him. I'd have to say Pan's Labyrinth and The Shape of Water. I think are
Oh yeah,
probably the two biggest, I would say, that are like must sees for everybody else. But like, there's so many other things. Like, I loved Nightmare Alley. That was such a weird
oh
experience
yeah.
for me because Nightmare Alley came out the same weekend, at least in limited, like where you could go see it, as Spider-Man No Way Home. I took the day off of work at the day of Spider-Man No Way Home coming out, saw it the night before. Our theater's power went out about 15 minutes into the movie, and I had to drive all the way to Macedonia from Cuyahoga Falls. If anybody's local and knows that, it's a bit of a hike. It's not like a short drive, but we drove all the way out there just to get like some dinky seats in a screening that they had just added like a couple hours before. So it's like we just got in there to rewatch the first 15 minutes of that. I was basically out till like 3 a.m. I woke up at like 11 o'clock to catch a noon screening of Nightmare Alley the very next day. So I was just like in the theater all night, and then literally the next morning just watching that. And it was like, damn, you couldn't pick two very different movies like Spider-Man and then that. It's like, and I fucking love Nightmare Alley. I think it's one of Bradley Cooper's best performances. The ending is haunting if you guys have not seen it.
Guillermo del Toro is just a director that gets you extremely excited no matter what he's going to be doing. It's like anytime a new project's announced, I'm like, I'm already going to be in the theater to check out whatever the hell he's doing because he just understands horror. You could tell that he's just a student of the game. He grew up loving horror and he wants to tell these horror stories, and they just have a great tone to them. So anytime that he's doing any sort of story, he's just that how he intertwines science fiction with those horror elements. I mean, my gosh, he knocks it out of the park every time for me. He's one of my absolute favorite directors, and I could not be more excited to see Frankenstein. As I talk about it, I always have an ongoing list of my top 10 of the year. And it's like, I have most anticipated, and Black Phone 2 and Frankenstein are on that list.
I know, dude.
I feel like those two are just going to rock my top 10. It's going to have to rearrange everything that I have going on right at this very moment.
It's just like last year, dude. Like it's like, we all knew Nosferatu was coming out on fucking Christmas.
Yep.
So like right down to the wire. And we saw it like the beginning of December just because we got into a critic screening. Like we were very lucky that came together so fast.
What a terrible
wow
that was.
That was like the worst. That was like the biggest snowstorm we had last year.
Yeah.
And it's just the worst thing ever. I was in like 2 hours traffic on the way home. That's crazy.
That was like a wild time because I was like, when we were in that screening too, because we went with Killjoy Jake, and I was like thinking in my head, I was like, I hope it's not terrible outside when we get out here. And then I was like, well, maybe, because I had looked at the radar prior to going, and I knew we were going to get a couple hours of snow while I was in the theater. And stupidly, I was like, well, it can't be that bad, right? We're only going to be in here for a little bit. And I think we got out at 5 something, and I was like, it's only supposed to start snowing like around 4. So how much snow
should be fine?
Yeah, how much snow can pile up in an hour and 15 minutes? And then like we get out there, and I'm like, oh, it's not too bad. And like Jake's like, oh, well, you guys drive safe. I hear it's pretty bad. And I was like, really? And then I got out there, and I was like, oh shit, he was right.
Yeah, it was fucking rough. It's awful, but it was definitely one of those like highest of highs of the year because like we love the movie, and it was one of those ones where it was like we walked out of there like completely mixed on like one element. At least I did, and I was just like, it was so weird to walk out of that and then immediately have to deal with now I have to drive home in a snowstorm, and I'm 45 minutes from my house. Like, what a nightmare
In rush hour. was so much fun.
Oh yeah, because it was after work. It was 5. Yep. Jesus, dude, it was terrible. I did want to highlight this, but Penelope says Del Toro is a huge fan of Bernie Wrightson's illustration version of Frankenstein, so I'm hoping it will have that visual aspect. I totally think it already does. There's a couple of sequences in that trailer that I think are literal homages to it. Hang on. I'm just pulling up the images here to make sure I'm correct. Yes, this is the one. Yeah, like there's some of the stuff here, like just the way his face is, and I think they're gonna cover it with like, because if you look at the poster, which they do have in the article here, he's wearing like some kind of like a mask, it looks like. Or if is that like maybe those wrappings?
I think I think it's like the wrappings on his face, because I don't know if how often he's going to be concealed. I love that they are concealing his face. I love that it was limited use of Frankenstein's monster throughout the actual trailer itself, rather than giving away too much. We had some interaction, but it wasn't like an overuse of what we can really expect. And I love that they're kind of waiting. And I don't know how much of an unveiling we're going to get, at least for the whole film itself. I think maybe we won't see him in full regalia until the very end, maybe. But I'm really excited to see what the design's going to look like.
I'm thinking like he's going to have like a nose like Swamp Thing where he doesn't have a nose.
Yeah.
And it's going to be open. It's going to be sweet like that. But like, even if you just look at how he depicts like Dr. Frankenstein in the comic, it's like, yeah, he looks just like oh my god, why am I forgetting his
Oscar
name?
Isaac.
Oscar Isaac. Yeah.
Yep.
It's like he looks exactly like Oscar Isaac, like same hairstyle, same everything. So it's like, I think that's a pretty safe bet.
Yeah, especially if he's working off of this, it looks, I mean, that looks like a dead ringer for Oscar Isaac, to be honest. So I would fully expect to have something that looks like that, like you're saying, the Swamp Thing nose, where it's like almost no nose at all. I can't wait to see what Frankenstein's monster is going to look like when I don't know if we're going to go see this in the theater, maybe to be continued on that one. But if we get a screener for this one, either way, I'm really excited to see this.
Yeah, it was Monday. Was it Monday or Tuesday that we got the email from Netflix about that?
Yeah, it was very early on in this past week.
Yeah, so like, just so everybody has like an idea, like we got invited to an opportunity to basically accept an invitation to a Columbus screening, which is like probably about 2 hours roughly from us. So it's one of those things where it's like, we might go to that just to see this, but they also were extending screener access. And I really want to see this on a big screen. I don't necessarily want to watch this at home. I think that's one of the travesties of this being a Netflix property, is that most people are going to see it at home. But like, I also just like think maybe if we're lucky, they'll expand a little bit, because we've seen that happen before with certain studios, or they'll add just another city like real quick. And it's like, since it's in Columbus, I would not be shocked if they throw something at like Valley View or even like the Phoenix theaters up here. Like, could you imagine seeing this at the Phoenix theaters?
I would lose my shit, to be honest. That would be like one of the most exciting viewings you could get, I think.
I saw Superman there and I still think about it. Like, it's one of my favorite theatrical experiences from this year. Mimic, also great. And then got a little Crimson Peak love. This kind of surprises me. Mr. Boone says, I think the only movie I truly love by him is Pinocchio. See, like, everybody loves Pinocchio. I'm going to have to check that out. Like, I've been meaning to.
That's on Netflix?
Yep.
Is that right? Okay.
That's why I keep forgetting about it.
Yeah.
It's just Netflix. I had 4 friends at that movie theater, and when the power went out during Spider-Man, yeah, that was a very scary night. I was I didn't know what the fuck we were gonna do. Like, our buddy John, who was with us, just stood up and was like, I'm going to the Regal. Like, he just left and just like went on his own. And it's like the rest of us are trying to coordinate a screening, and we all just like, our whole group of like 15 people just like split up. It was terrible.
Everyone got lost.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what happened to them? I've never heard from them again.
I saw a Companion in a snowstorm and almost crashed on my way back. Jeez.
Oh gosh,
that's a great movie though.
It's really well done.
I'm sure your night was pretty cool up until then. Yes. Yep. No, I feel you. I had a large sketch of the monster Bernie did in 30 years. Wow.
That's fantastic.
I love that. And I stay home, watch movies too. It's great. Yeah. No, I get you.
Understandable.
I get it. there are certain movies that demand a theatrical experience. I feel like Frankenstein is one of those this year. And I will make that sacrifice for it. Adrian, your thoughts? You've been quiet for a little bit. So,
dude, I always get excited whenever they're gonna put some work into an original IP like that. You know what I mean? Just looking at, I haven't seen the trailer. Just looking at this Frankenstein online, I am indeed excited to go check it out. It looks really high quality. I've always looked at Frankenstein as kind of like some big dumb like Lenny from Between Mice and Men. You know what I mean? Wait, is that the book or the band Between Mice and Men?
Between Mice and Men is the
Of Mice and Men is the band.
Of Mice and Men is, I think that's the book actually.
Yeah, Of Mice and Men is the book.
Yeah,
that guy. Yeah, man, Frankenstein gave me his vibes, and I feel like this time I'm actually gonna watch Frankenstein and be like, yeah, I'm not gonna fuck with this guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Did you watch Nosferatu?
But every single time I get on your Fandango app, I scroll past it and I'm like, this is gonna be the night. And then I see Skinamarink. I'm like, no, it's gonna be the night for that. And then I just end up watching whenever Julie wants to watch.
Geez, yeah, Skinamarink. I would say watch Skinamarink. Strangely enough, I hope Kyle Edward Ball, he's not watching this, but if he ever was, doesn't hate us for this. But you should watch Skinamarink on your phone with headphones in at 3 a.m. That's how you should watch that movie. That would be the scariest way to do it. In a dark room, just you, that little blue light from your screen. That's all it is. That's what I want. Let's see. I went to my local screening of Toxic Avenger. Literally no one was there. They were legit cleaning up the room with the lights on. They ended up giving us a full room to ourselves, snuck drinks in. There you go. I mean, hey, there's an upside to that, of course. I adored that movie, so
that was a lot of fun. We didn't see that one in the theater. We did get a screener for that one, but that would have been a lot of fun to check out in the theater.
We were definitely going. Like, we didn't get that screener till like the week of. So
yeah, it was like a really close call in terms of when we got that screener, because we were committed. We were looking at times, and I was like, oh, I think the closest time was probably like 30 minutes away from us, and then they started adding. And then I looked in the app, and it was like, oh wait, no, they actually have one at our local theater. They started adding some to that, and that's when we were going to go to. And then we, at the very last minute, got a screener for that one. But that one, it's like a Terrifier experience where the people that are going to be there are going to be very excited to check that one out.
It's going to be fans. It's going to be people who want to see that stuff.
I've never seen a screener in person with you guys. Do like either of y'all have like a in-home like theater setup to capture that theater feel whenever watching a screener?
No, I watch 90% of the screeners on my phone, admittedly, or on my computer screen. So I'm sorry. Yeah, it's a time thing with a toddler. I can't watch a movie like Traumatica with my son in the middle of the day with him. So it's like, and most of the time when we get to record, it's night. So it's like, that's what's convenient for us. So it's like when they're asleep, we're recording. So we have to watch it. So I have to watch a lot of my movies with my phone, unfortunately, but
yeah,
I always try to watch them multiple times if they're really good.
I watch most of mine on my computer. It's like legitimately the first thing I do when I wake up. So it's like my morning coffee and whatever horror movie we gotta get done before everyone else in the house wakes up is usually how that goes. There's very rarely do I get to watch it on the actual television. There are a handful of things my wife likes to watch with me, but just timing. Like Dylan, I end up watching it just on my computer screen alone as I cry.
I was imagining that room outside Dylan's little office that he's sitting in right now, and I was thinking that would be a really cool screen room. Just
I'd love to. I got a couple. I got a couch out there now. Like that's been there. I don't think you've seen that since it's been there. Really, I just got to get the end tables out of here because I have them just stacked up because I don't even like use that room for anything. Half of it's been ripped apart because of the flood from a couple of weeks ago. So it ain't in the best shape, but I feel you. I would love to watch movies there. But
all you
most
really
of the
need
time,
is like surround sound speakers.
Yeah, and I had the sound bar down there, but most of the time we watch them like when my wife and I watch it, we just do the screen share from my phone to our living room TV because that works the best. But like, yeah, it's like that's when we watch them together, but we just don't like have the time really as much anymore. to get down. Like most of the time when my wife goes to them, we're actually going to screenings. Like she's going to come see the Black Phone with us. So we're going to sit down and watch that before she goes to see that. She hasn't seen the first one.
Me either.
But yeah, it's one of those things where it's
really
like,
cool.
I definitely know she tries not to miss out on those experiences.
Plus,
hell yeah.
You know what was my morning coffee?
What?
VHS this morning.
There you go. We'll be getting into that here shortly. We'll be talking. I want to see. I like the Frankenstein movie with Robert De Niro. Yeah, that's a solid one.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't adore it. Like it's not like a Bram Stoker's Dracula in my opinion, but it's like, it's up there. It's in that category. It's just on the lower side in my opinion. But I know a lot of people love it, so I try not to be a dick about it. I did see Frankenstein Meets the Wolfman last night in a packed theater. That was a lot of fun. That's awesome, dude. I can't believe there's a theater playing that right now. That's amazing. I
love when theaters just start playing random horror stuff throughout the month of October.
We have yet to see fucking Trick or Treat in theaters, and every year they've been putting it out, and I always catch it at the last second where it's like, oh wow, they have had this for like the rest of this week. When's the next screening? Oh, it's tonight's the last night. Like it always happens. You're looking at it right now, aren't you?
Yes.
Like that's the thing.
Forgot about that until
and the thing I was supposed to do that. I was supposed to go see Jaws, but didn't have time. Just we had so many screenings that week because like we had I think that was God. It was right before that was the Conjuring week that we had that, and then we had a bunch of screeners and stuff. So I hate myself for not seeing that. Like that's like one of my favorite movies.
Let's see here. I was just looking at Trick or Treats. Of course, they're showing it on October 14th. That's when we're supposed to go see the Black Phone.
Of course, yeah.
But then they also do have it the 16th as well, which is a Thursday. I don't know if we have any new releases that day. We'll have to take a look, but I don't know.
We might be able to get away with it. Wait, no, the 16th. That would be that would have been the night of the Black Phone if we didn't go to the screening. So yeah, we'd actually be good.
It looks like they're showing it in Canton. Would probably be the nearest.
Let's do a double feature. Let's just do a double date. Let's put that in there. Get babysitters. Haley's seen that movie one time. I doubt she remembers it, so I can just lie to her and tell her she's never seen it.
There we go.
She believed me. No, I'm kidding.
Just get her to commit, and then when she's in the theater, it's just too late.
She'd be like, "I swear I've seen this before," and I'd be like, "No, you haven't. You don't." And that's the unnatural power I have over my wife, is she's got a terrible memory when it comes to movies and TV. So it's like I decide for her what she's seen and what she hasn't.
There it is.
It's like playing God, and I don't like
it. That's pretty fire.
No, it's not that bad. She's gotten a lot better of like really expanding her palette with movies and TV. Like she's into some dark shit though, so she has a lot of fun with the disturbing stuff. Oh yes, yeah. And then let's see. I had a crowd when I saw Toxic Avenger. Me and the guy in front of me both pointed wildly at the screen when Lloyd Kaufman. Yes, yeah. I definitely. There were a handful of things like they have the little chicken from Poultrygeist in there. There's just a ton of shit that is just like really great to see. Like I genuinely feel like they could open that world up and really just give us some more modern takes on trauma stuff like they just did with this one, and just let that world play where they're almost like pseudo sequels. It's like I think that would be great. Like I loved seeing all the references. Like Traumaville felt alive in that movie, I will say.
I think Toxic Avenger really just kicked the door open for the potential of the universe itself. And I really hope that they do something else and it just wasn't a one-off, because I think they established it really well. They got a lot of people talking just from going to the theater. And I know there were a handful of articles about certain scenes and things like that. So I know it got a lot of buzz going around. Got its own popcorn bucket.
I have it. It's over here. Yep. Couldn't pass it up. I saw it. I was like, I need it.
And it's a beautiful popcorn bucket. There's so many out there, but Toxic Avenger was absolutely worthy of having its own
barrel. It's amazing.
So it's like I'm hoping that we see a lot more from Troma coming out over the next few years, and just kind of, even if it is just kind of these Fathom events for they're there a couple days and then go straight to digital, because there was so much buzz around that one, especially after it being so dormant for like 2 years, and then finally coming out and being able to check that one out, and it was so much fun. It didn't take itself too seriously. I know some people have a problem with it, but
I know it
was
weird.
So fun.
I felt like it was like so like Troma is offensive, and it was so like non-offensive to people who wanted Troma to be offensive. I know that's like a double entendre or whatever, but like people were upset saying that it's like they didn't go hard enough, when it's like they were pretty, they did some cool stuff. They didn't like shy away. This wasn't like a saturated, like bleached version of any other Troma property. It's like they just, I guess, put that kind of, I think we said it in the review, like that Marvel movie superhero origin kind of shine to it, which I think just again opens the door for Toxic Crusader. Like that's what they should be going towards. Like, let's do it. Let's bring us a live action Toxic Crusaders movie. Let's go.
A lot of lucrative lore. So I'm hoping we see something else from that, because gosh, what a fun film that was. Probably one of the most fun films I think of 2025, to be honest.
I feel you. Yeah, it's definitely one that I'm excited to see again. Yeah, that does play a role there, Mr. Boone. I've had that where it's like certain movies, like when I saw The Lobster with me and one other old man, and like we didn't know each other, but like when I walked out of the movie, we like just kind of were walking out at the same time. He's just like, that was a really weird movie, and I'm like, yeah, I loved it though. He's like, I did too, and I was like, it's great, but it was just like very strange.
Then he became best friends.
Yeah, I wish. I don't even know that guy.
I wonder what he's doing right now.
He's probably dead. He was old.
He was old. That's a grim turn. I was hoping for something a little happier twist there.
It's a grim life, my friend. I'm sorry. I don't know what to say.
Damn, man.
I'm sorry. No, I hope he's doing well. I hope he's watching the rest of Yorgos Lanthimos's filmography. It's only gotten stranger, which Begonia premiered at Fantastic Fest. Apparently, it's a lot of fun. Very strange, very on brand. So I'm excited to see that.
No surprises there.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I was the only person in the theater when I saw Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3. I hate to say this, Penelope. I don't know where you fall on this category. I am a defender of Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, but I understand why people who love the first movie go into 2 and then just skip on the third one. I get it. I understand. But, it's one of those things. I will go fighting, kicking and screaming till the end of time about my love for Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. I think that movie is so good. And
I don't remember 3 at all, actually.
3 takes place in a swamp.
I don't know if I've seen that one, to be honest. I know I've seen the one with Matthew McConaughey, but
oh god, Ken Foree's in that, I think.
Yeah, I know that, but I don't think I've ever seen it. If I did, it was just as a random rental way back in the day. So I don't remember anything that happens in that film. So I don't know. Maybe that'll be on my list for October.
That would be a fun one. It's not like the best movie, but I think you'd like it, especially in today's context. Like, just understand and like just know that nothing in this franchise is ever going to touch the first film. And I promise that's how you fall in love with Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. All right? I'm just saying.
I've already come to terms with that, and I give it a rewatch every couple of years.
And it's the definition of insanity. I keep expecting different results every year from you, and you disappoint. We try again over and over. No, I don't know.
Time to dust this one off. And then that chainsaw scene. I'm like, okay.
I feel like that's one thing that's ruining just an otherwise very goofy. Well, again, you don't care about horror comedy, so
it has to be done absolutely right. And if it's not, then it's a deal breaker.
I am like a very big. I'm easy with horror comedy. I would say I'm very easy with it, so I could see that. But yeah, oh man, yes. Just Absolutely. That's very, very a good way to put it. It's like it's just such a wild departure. Like, like Mad Max is such a grim story when you really look at it, and then The Road Warrior is an action movie. It's like it's so crazy. Oh yeah. Which Texas Chainsaw Massacre has Justin Biel? That's my favorite one. That is the remake, the first one, not the prequel. But
I
that's also
enjoyed that
very
one.
good. Yeah, I was gonna say that's a good one.
I really like that one. I was really surprised by
I like
it.
both of them. The
Yeah.
beginning and
The
that
beginning,
one.
yeah. I think they both have a really good tone to them. Obviously the original is iconic, but when we talk about remakes, I think that one really surprised me, and I had no expectation that one was going to actually be good, but I really enjoyed it.
I also love Next Generation, and that's only because it taps back into the zaniness of Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, just because like fucking Matthew McConaughey is wild in that movie. I love his character so much.
I remember that was a random rental for me, I'll tell you, because I had been wanting from my local video store, this was way back when, I had been wanting to rent Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and it was always rented out. So, you know how you just pick up random stuff? And I remember picking up The Next Generation. I was like, what the hell's Matthew McConaughey doing in this at that time? And I was like, I have to rewatch that one, but
is it Renee Zellweger is also in it, or who's the
yes,
girl?
Yep, that's correct.
Like two massive stars before
I
they
was
were
like,
famous.
what is going on here? And I remember having some fun with that one. But I honestly, I haven't revisited that one since the early 2000s as well. So
yeah,
I honestly don't remember too much about it other than Matthew McConaughey is completely unhinged in that film.
It's a wild one, friend. It's crazy. Also, I gotta admit, I think a big part of my love for Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, and this is the last I'll talk about it, I'm sorry, is just I fucking love Chop Top so much. Like, he is such a natural extension of that family to me. He is so perfect. And his performance there, like, it is so great when he's like scratching his head with the little hanger and he's just like, bye-bye. Like, it's like he's so funny, dude. Bill Moseley killed it in that.
I'm gonna have to maybe I'll give it a rewatch here and report back on.
You know what? No, don't ruin my October, okay? Don't.
And that's absolutely what's going to happen. I'm just gonna go with a laundry list of things that I dislike.
One of your videos you're gonna do is why Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 is hyped garbage, and you're just gonna hurt me and just abuse me.
Is TCM2 the worst film ever made?
Oh yeah. Necro did mention this earlier. The Ed Gein show, Monster season 3 has dropped. Is anybody gonna watch that? Adrian, is that gonna be
that's on Netflix? Is that right?
Yeah,
is that the Netflix thing with what's his name? Why am I forgetting his name? He's from Sons of Anarchy and Pacific Rim. What's his name?
Charlie Hunnam.
Yeah, there we go. He's playing Ed Gein,
yep.
I think, this summer, isn't he? Okay.
I've seen like a clip of his performance.
Did it look promising?
He doesn't sound like Charlie Hunnam. He sounds like a complete weirdo. But like, yeah, it is one of those things where it's like, this is kind of tough, especially now with the movies I've watched. I could probably watch this again, but we didn't actually make it all the way through the Jeffrey Dahmer one. We got to like episode 8, and then we're like, we're going to take a break, and we just never went back. It was like, oh my God, it's just like, it got to be a lot, especially in the episode where it's like he meets that one dude, and like they kind of seem like they're like might actually be a good fit for each other, and like they're, going on dates and shit, and then he just kills him, and it's like, bro, like that just like the worst ending to an episode ever, where it's just like, Jesus, I feel terrible. And yeah, it's like I just never went back on that one.
I never actually finished it either. Neither did Penelope. I think I got to I don't know how many episodes there were in Dahmer, but
10.
Okay, and honestly, I think I may have gotten to 9. We were watching them like really late at night, and then I ended up falling asleep, I think, from like maybe episode 9, and then just never went back to finish it. I remember being really intrigued by the story, and I liked it. I just I don't know if I got busy and started watching other stuff, but I never went back to fully complete the series either.
Yeah, and I can say Evan Peters, though, was incredible. Like, I mean,
absolutely.
Just his performance was impeccable. And I think Charlie Hunnam's doing a similar thing here. And yeah, I heard the second season was pretty good, but all I've seen are clips from that, and it just looks goofy as hell. So I don't know. I'm the Menendez brothers one.
Oh yeah. I haven't seen that.
But this one, I'm curious just because of Charlie Hunnam's performance again. If it just gets too rough and too like, it's weird because like I watch all these other terrible movies, but like I don't know. I just think like Dahmer, they did a great job. Like I have to give them that. Like, yes, I know it has backlash, and I know like people were weird and did weird, weird shit with it, falling in love with Jeffrey Dahmer, making him a sex icon. Like that's fucked up. But it's one of those things where it's like the performance alone from Evan Peters and just what they presented. It's like,
yeah,
it'll strike a fucking chord with you. Like, I don't know. It's one of the rare, like probably one of the more disturbing kind of widely available pieces of content that I can think of.
Especially being Evan Peters. I think, he's got such a following from American
I loved
Horror
him
Story.
as Quicksilver.
Yeah.
I just want to say I wasn't a big American Horror Story fan, but his Quicksilver was great.
Oh, yeah, I'm in agreement there as well. But I think American Horror Story was just such a big thing when it had come out. And I think his following, especially kind of horror adjacent, just jumped over to Dahmer. And I was excited for his portrayal there because he always puts on a great performance. And just seeing the stills before we even got into the actual series itself and seeing a trailer for it, he looked great in terms of how authentic it could be. And I love the film My Friend Dahmer. So just those retellings of the Dahmer story. I mean, he's one of the most iconic killers, I think, of all time. So anytime that property kind of gets dusted off and we see a different take, you're immediately intrigued to see what they can do there. And it's a good series, certainly, but I just never went back to finish that one. I missed season 2. I'm intrigued by season 3 to see what they can do. Ed Gein is another one that is such an iconic killer. So
yeah,
I want to see what they can do to kind of, I don't know, justify its existence, I guess, and see.
Yeah, I think like I can probably sit down with Haley and get this one at least started, and we'll see how it goes. But I just felt like we got so intimate with Dahmer's, just especially like I said, that episode that we tapped out on. It's just like I got almost like mildly disgusted because I felt happy for him. And it's like it does such a great job of blinding you the whole time. Like you're just like watching, this little kind of like little love stories, little like thing. They're just two people who just have never found anybody, and they seem to find each other. And you think, oh, this is the part where everything turns, and like he doesn't kill this guy, he lets him go, and this is like the moral center of it. And then it quickly brings you back down to reality in like the hardest way towards the end of the episode. It's like, oh no, he just, this was a real dude. This really happened, and he just straight did this. And I think the worst part is because he got to know his family. And it's like, that was really hard to watch. I did not like how just like he got to know his mom and his sisters and everybody. And it's just like, I hated that.
They kind of dangled this carrot of hope. And when you get the result that you get, it's just this extra layer of bleakness that you're like, my gosh, really no redeeming quality in Jeffrey Dahmer at all. So I think it just makes you even that much more sad when you watch the series, because you always hope, okay, maybe we're going to get some sort of happy ending for one of these characters. And I think at that instance that you're talking about is kind of like where any sort of hope, truly just that flame went out. It's like, my gosh, what am I in for the rest of this? You really do sometimes with these stories have to just take a breather, sit back, but by then it's kind of like, do I really want to put myself through the rest of this after knowing what I know now? And I think, I don't know, I do have to go back and complete that just because I saw it through for so much of it that I hate that I never sat down and finished that one out. But it is just a mental task to go back and be like, again, we talk about the documentaries. It's like this stuff is based on true events, and I think that makes it that much more disturbing.
Yep. Erica hits a nail on the head here too, just by saying watching stories of things that have happened to people for real hits different than horror that we know is fake. It's like, yeah, it's just straight up what it is. True crime stuff bothers me too. Like, I can enjoy horror movies because they're fake. True crime makes me feel gross. It depends. Like, I feel like I'm so desensitized by something like a Forensic Files because it's almost a meme, just the layout of that show and everything. It's like, it is just so ingrained in our culture of, falling asleep with the TV on at 3 a.m. and then it's just like you wake up to Forensic Files or, George Lopez or whatever. And, it's like one of those things where it's like, that's in there. But then, yeah, it's like you go into some of these, like, I would say the very first few Netflix documentaries when they were trying, or really, fuck that. The HBO documentaries are really, really hard. Some of those are really dark. And yeah, it's, that's a tough one. Let's see. Oh yeah, Mama Mayhem said I couldn't finish the Menendez brothers season, just didn't vibe with it. That's what I heard. A lot of people tapped out of that one or said it was too goofy. I like the Dahmer season, but I know it's hard for the families of the victims. It hasn't been that long since it happened. Unlike Ed Gein, so many people that dealt with that are still alive. Yeah, that's true. That is, I didn't even consider that. Ed Gein has been quite a while, so it's like I don't think many of the folks who dealt with that are probably still around. So it's or they're just extremely old. But yeah, that's a wild one. I was creeped out by that Dahmer's rumored to have stalked one of his victims on Halloween night at a Skinny Puppies concert. The same tour they were showing flowers of flesh and blood during the show. That's eerie. That sounds like something right out of a horror movie. Just watching something like that with a serial killer stalking you. I watched the Dahmer series. Haven't watched the Ed Gein one yet, but anything true crime gives me the creeps.
Absolutely.
Yep. I watched The Lost Bus last night, and I could think was the poor kids are like traumatized from being in a bus driving through wildfires. I do want to see that. I heard that was pretty good. I do want to check that out.
I haven't. What is that one? Is that new?
Yeah, it's on Apple. I think it's in theaters or like it had a small theatrical run, but it's
Matthew
McConaughey. Yep.
There we go. And America Ferrera is in it too.
Oh yeah. I have a strict rule that if I get murdered / die in an interesting way, the only person allowed to exploit my death is my sister, who makes films. If anyone else does it, it's going to haunt them. That is awesome. I totally respect that. So don't die, Gracie, in any interesting way. Don't die at all, actually. What am I saying? But don't do that. And we promise we won't make movies out of you. All right. Yeah. And then American Horror Story Hotel is my favorite, and Murder House. Never got into it. I'm sorry, but I never really just had a taste for it.
I watched the very first season of American Horror Story as well as the second season. After the second season, it just didn't click with me. I loved the first season, but the second season was just, I didn't know what I was in store for there. I was thinking, it kind of went on to be different concepts throughout different seasons, and I really loved that first season, so I was hoping it was more what we usually get with these, where it's like a continuation of the story, and it just wasn't that for me. So I was like, I saw through to season 2, and I was like, I don't have any interest. And I think season 3 is Coven, I believe, which everyone speaks really highly of, but I've just never sat down and committed to the rest of the series. Now I don't even know how many seasons there are of it, but it just seems so daunting to sit down and try to tackle all of American Horror Story.
Yeah.
And some of the things just don't seem like they're going to hit.
American Horror Story is like the One Piece of live action horror at this point.
You tried to watch that, didn't you?
Yeah. I liked American Horror Story season 1. Season 2, I was really loving it. And then like halfway through, it just completely lost me. Mm-hmm. I still try to push forward anyway. And I was just met with more and more disappointment. But my fiance kept on watching this show. So here and there, I would catch a few episodes and enjoy it, whether it's at the carnival or, any other setting. I remember she was watching the newer one too, like the remake show. You guys know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. They did like American Horror Stories.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember I watched a little bit of that. It was all right.
Yeah. The only ones that I've seen most of other than the first season were I watched a good majority of the Carnival one because that's when I first started dating my wife, and her and her mom were watching it. So I was just over and I watched the first I think I'd only missed like the first 2 episodes, so I watched everything up to that point. I love the little clown guy in that. I thought he was creepy. And then I actually watched like half of the 80s season, the 80s slasher one they did, just because it was 80s slasher, and I was curious how they were going to do that one, and that was fun. You know, it was all right, but yeah, it's just kind of one of those things that just never really caught my interest too deep. But I always appreciate the effort. Luke,
Same.
since we have to talk about a couple different movies tonight, do you want to say skip the last story, go into the new segment, and then talk about VHS?
Yeah, that certainly works for me. Or we can do
All right.
VHS and then go into the new segment, whatever is tickles your fancy.
I think we should use it as like a buffer. Let's use it
Okay.
as like a bridge. A bridge. Now, those of you who are familiar, or at least have been around on the channel for quite some time, have watched old episodes of the Sunday Scaries before it was rebooted into a live show. Won't hurt my feelings if you haven't. It's okay, I understand. But we used to do a segment early on in that. We started doing it, but then all the videos kept getting copyright struck because we didn't know what we were doing. And Luke has been pitching of bringing it back. And we have a nice little tie-in. We're going to be using it to, we're actually going to have, because we have quite a few sponsors coming up. So we just have to get permission from them. But we are bringing back, Luke, why don't you introduce it? It's your baby. You pitched it the first time. It's back, and I think it's better than ever. Go for it, sir.
Oh, well, thank you, Dylan. Yes. So like Dylan said, this was a segment that we had done previously when we did, we just record this and release it Sunday mornings. It's called Kill of the Week. So we take a particular kill from a horror film that we just want to kind of highlight and talk about a little bit. Give us an excuse to talk about a film maybe that would not come up naturally. So we've kind of picked them out for the month of October. Hopefully going forward, we're going to let you guys choose. Kind of hit us up through our email at SplattercastKills. Give us some recommendations and we can kind of highlight included with our sponsor of, you know, someone in the chat, someone that just watches even after, you know, like Monday morning and has an idea that we're going to just kind of highlight a little bit. So we're going to get into the kill of the week.
Absolutely. And let me see. We'll have a much smoother transition for this. I just have to double check.
We're figuring it all out.
We're figuring it out. But yes, back to it. Kill of the week.
A postpartum Jamie Lloyd is taking a stroll and enjoying the Halloween vibes when Uncle Mikey interrupts to perform a C-section of his own. Deciding a corn thresher might be a little more comfortable than an operating table, we see why Michael never finished med school. Jamie tries to get one last hug from her uncle, but Michael isn't that sentimental, as he lets Jamie know that warm feeling in her stomach is just her blood gushing out. Jamie tells Michael to go ahead and put baby Myers on a milk carton because Michael and the Cult of Thorn won't be getting full custody. Finally, trimming that branch of the family tree, Michael is free of his baby mama drama, knowing he might have 99 problems, but Jamie ain't one. And there we go. Yes,
Gold,
we're
bro.
gonna
Gold.
funny synopsis with that one as well. Halloween 6.
Yes, that was, so this was, Luke gave me a lineup of what he was considering, and I figured, hey, since this is first week of October, fuck it, everybody seems to be like loving Halloween 6 these days, so, you know, why don't we go with that? And I guess I get it. Like, it's very, that is a weird movie in that franchise. Now it gets weirder with like Resurrection, but like that was the one where they were really trying to tie this whole Cult of Thorn thing up and like give us some definitive answers and kind of really make it what I think they maybe set out with it the first, who knows. But like it was quite a departure, especially when you watch something like 5, which is just the most like bland version of like a Halloween movie ever. It's just like, it's like we just had one extreme to the other.
Absolutely. It's so weird because like the whole Jamie Lloyd arc is so odd in terms of that 3-film arc that we do get, because Halloween 4, a lot of people talk about, has a great atmosphere to it, rightfully so. I love Halloween 4. It was one of the earlier ones that I had seen growing up, and we get into 5 and knowing what the director wanted to do, making Jamie mute in that for most of the film and killing Rachel off so early on, which is a beloved character from number 4. So many odd choices going into that one. I think 5 really painted everyone into a corner, not knowing where to go with 6. And I think 6 was one of the early ones that I had seen, starring Paul Rudd, and just I think it was on TV a lot at the time. And I just knowing the history of that one and trying to make everything make sense. And I always appreciate the installments that take everything that had happened before and really try to make some coherent story. So I've always appreciated 6 to a certain extent. I don't think it's a great film by any means, but what they tried to do there, I think does work to an extent, best you can, to try and push the franchise forward. But I can never get on board what they did with Jamie Lloyd, because I absolutely love Halloween 4 and that character. And then what do we get in 6 is just so odd. So many odd choices.
Yeah, it's one of those things for me where it's like they do the whole like Alien 3 thing where it's like, yeah, we're just gonna kill a major character here, also recasting her. It's just like it all just feels very weird to be like, okay, I'm kind of honestly glad that they did this though, because like I think if you were gonna try to make her character and it wasn't Danielle Harris, that just wouldn't feel right, especially having her again. And I know you're not the biggest fan of these. I'm not the biggest fan of them. But the Rob Zombie Halloween movies, having her back as even a different character, it's like whenever I see Danielle Harris, I think Halloween. It's like the same thing when you look at Jamie Lee Curtis, you think Halloween. It's like that's one of those things that'll always be very prevalent for me. And I just think like if you're not going to commit and have her come back when she was more than willing to, because I've heard the whole like backstory to this and stuff, and it's all over contracts and money. It's just like I can't. I'm just happy that she's dead and that she's gone. And let's be real, like I think we're coming out of this with hindsight's 2020, because like I knew her fate before I even like took these movies seriously and watched it. So it's like I knew they moved on and they did other stuff after this. It wasn't like her death was really that consequential. So it's like, it is what it is. It's disjointed, but I like watching this as like a pseudo follow-up to 4 in a lot of ways. I kind of just don't care about 5.
And just the lore behind the production here. This kill is actually like in the theatrical cut, and the producer's cut is a little bit different in terms of how Jamie Lloyd meets her demise. And I remember watching this version of it growing up as a kid, and it took me forever to realize that is Jamie Lloyd. I just thought it was a kill at the beginning of the film, and then realizing, wait, that's supposed to be the little girl from Halloween 4. And I think it put such a sour taste in your mouth. And then kind of the lore, Michael being the father, and
that
really
also
weird.
Over my head as a kid, like completely. And then like learning about that just from like watching like favorite horror YouTubers and stuff as they cover the movie. It's like, that's such a weird fucking plot point. Like that is so strange. Oh God.
Weird take on it, but that was even in the original script. So it was like they were trying to make sense of something, but it just unfortunately doesn't fit in terms of what we know from Michael Myers. And to think of the situation in general of that going down is just so off-putting. But I remember Halloween 6 being the producer's cut, being this kind of internet lore at the time. I remember being on the internet in the forums in the early 2000s and being like, oh, you can get a shitty copy of a VHS to see the producer's copy. And I remember just seeing these really low quality stills of this is the difference that happens in Halloween 6, and being so excited. And I remember trying to do research and trying to find how I would get a VHS version of this shitty producer's cut, and it never really panning out. But then this came out. Cut came out when I was working at Buybacks, when I was very early on, and being so excited that I was gonna be able to check it out. And it's like, I don't know, for me, the way the producer's cut ends as opposed to it just seems so anticlimactic in what we get.
I don't know. I think I've just like, because also like the theatrical cut was the one that was on AMC all the time.
Yeah.
So it's like that's what I associate with it. So it's like it's very, very odd. It's like it's one of those things where I can't say that I love this movie, and I can't even say that I necessarily really like it, but like it is the oddball, in my opinion, more so now than even like Halloween 3 is. Because Halloween 3 was always everybody's oddball because it didn't have Michael in it. But it's like Halloween 3 fits right in.
Yeah.
It's right at home. It's perfect just the way it is. Stop bullying it. You stop it. All right. I get real sensitive about Halloween 3. But no, I love it. I think that it's great. And this one is just truly, this and Resurrection are just like the weirdest entries to me. But I really wouldn't have it any other way, honestly. Like, I like this kill as far as just the presentation. It's very intricate. It's weird. Whenever the blades start spinning, I always forget about that. So when I watch that again, it's always just like ooh, like a little bit of extra, a little extra sauce, a little zip to the stuff,
There's certainly a lot of brutality that comes along with this one. So I think, in the actual theatrical cut, the producer's cut is, again, a little anticlimactic is what we do get there. There was a bigger vision in terms of the script and what we could get, especially if they had gotten Danielle Harris back, of what they were going to do with Halloween 6. But what we got in the theatrical experience, very brutal. And it's very... very bitter end to the Jamie Lloyd character, I would say, because it is so graphic and so like kind of right out of the gate. You think maybe you're gonna get some sort of catharsis with that character, and it's just like it abruptly ends in the most brutal fashion.
Yeah, I think overall, I'm just gonna say like that's I think the headcanon you had as a kid is what I will adopt. It's just like, this is just some strange lady who Michael is chasing and trying to impregnate. Like, this is not Jamie Lloyd. So, yeah, lots of fun stuff there. Stephanie is a fan. Thank you there. Yes. Let's see. YouTube me. I try to stay on the likes no matter the stream. Oh, well, thank you, sir. We appreciate that. Yeah, it's when you're talking about like looking for tracking down an old VHS in chat rooms. That's like, you just don't do shit like that anymore. It's like you'd probably find a file at this point or a stream. Let's see, ranking my VHS Halloween best to worst: fun sized, Usupra, Sick Infra, Home Haunt, Kid Print, and Coochie Coochie Coo Diet Phantasma. That's not bad. I definitely think that Utsupra Sink Infra is my least favorite. And I'd have to put Kid Print above Home Haunts, but after that, I think we're right on par. So
I think it seems like some people struggled with the campiness of VHS Halloween. I don't know if that was just kind of an unexpected turn that they took. I was really excited that they doubled down on that, just because I think it's a lot of fun for the Halloween spirit.
I don't know. I haven't been paying too much attention to our comments as much as like, the reviews I've been watching from people. Cause like VHS is a franchise that like, I understand not everybody loves. So it's one of those things for me where it's like, they are my little safety blanket films. So it's just like, yeah, I like these ones. They feel good. So I don't care necessarily what, people feel is too campy or too cheesy, because it's like the next entry could be wildly different from the last. So,
and I actually haven't paid attention to any of our comments on our review. I actually I follow found footage page on Facebook, and now obviously with VHS Halloween hitting Shudder, everyone's checking it out, and it's like every time I open it up, it seems like that's one of the first things that happens. I'm like, oh, okay, well, interesting take, but I see where you're coming from, but I rather enjoy it.
I think your first mistake was believing what anybody has to say on a Facebook page.
Well, Dylan, I didn't say I believed it. I said I was surprised at the takes.
Well, I should say that you should stop listening to those people. They'll bring you down.
Dylan, who said I was listening to them? I told you.
You just said that you gave them attention. You gave them the time of day. So I say stop it.
All right, Dylan. I will not open Facebook.
Yeah, don't open Facebook. That's what I'm getting at. Yeah, Facebook is scary. It's going to get you. It's in the room with us right now.
That's social media. They'll sneak up on you.
Very, very nice, Stephanie. Yes, yeah, it was fun in some parts. I wish fun size I was hating Fun Size at first, but after a minute I started getting to the vibe. I absolutely loved it. Agreed. I also was like, Fun Size started off a little rough. That acting wasn't great, but then once you get to the once you get to the candy bowl, that's it. Yep. Okay. Erica literally says that too. It's like, yep, that's when everything turned. I was like, hell yeah. The Last Shore with Haunted House is incredible. Yeah, I love a lot of aspects of that. We'll save that. I don't want to dive too deep into spoilers on that one, but we got 3 other VHS films to talk about tonight. Adrian, you have been in the corner long enough, my friend. Let's get you up here. Let's join in the conversation, and let's talk a little bit of VHS, starting off with VHS 99. I'm gonna have you started off down there, sir. Take us away with your thoughts on 99.
VHS 99 was like my morning coffee, right, this morning. So, I saw visuals of like dudes like skateboarding, and I was like, this is exactly what I want in my life. And then it became more of like, they were a punk band. They wanted to go down to the venue and kind of like go to this creepy venue and stuff. I felt like personally that skit was a little weak. You know what I mean? I felt like 99, it was definitely just a little weak for me. It got creepier as it went along. To be honest though, I might even put Viral above it.
Really? You didn't like 99 that much?
Shockingly. I mean, it was cool, but like, not a whole lot of it was very memorable in my opinion. Like, I'm trying to think of what was possibly my favorite, part. Let me see, man. I need a refresher. Ozzy's Dungeon was pretty fun.
I was gonna say, okay, that's like, not to cut you off, that is my standout of this one. I think that Hell and Back is amazing.
Yeah, To Hell and Back is my absolute favorite part of this movie. I don't know why I thought it was part of like, 85 for a second or 84. But dude, To Hell and Back was hilarious, dude. I loved the comedy. I loved the acting. I loved the flow of the skit. It was so creepy. Like, it was great. And then, yeah, Ozzy's Dungeon was pretty cool. I liked how it turned into like a twisted revenge story at the end. That was nice. I liked that.
Oh yeah, it certainly has some bright spots, but I think this is one where people were, I think they were waiting for this series to get a little bit more like wild and crazy. But I think I'll say that for the next one. But Luke, your thoughts on 99?
Well, opening this one up, that frame narrative really caught me off guard. I was like, the toy soldiers. I understand. As we got deeper into it, and they tied into a story, I was like, okay, I understand what you were doing, but I didn't like that frame narrative. There are so many better frame narratives throughout it. I don't think I'd put this one over Viral. I don't think, just because I think it did have a couple of strong ones. Ozzy's Dungeon for me was a lot of fun. It just has that. It starts off with this kind of fun campiness to it, but then gets really dark out of nowhere. And I was like, my gosh, this one, it hit all the right spots for me. And To Hell and Back, I think, is a really, really strong segment as well. I love that they fully commit to that one, and just the concept of them, the way that they get to where they're at doing this like kind of exorcism and getting stuck there, and then the conclusion of that one, I think, is really fun as well. Let's see what other ones we had. Suicide Bid. Overall, I didn't really feel myself liking that one that much, but as we got deeper into it, when we're in the coffin and you see the creature coming through, I was like, okay, they kind of had an idea of where they were going. It just takes a minute to get there. So I think this one had a couple of strong installments, like To Hell and Back and Ozzy's Dungeon are easily the standout for me. I would have liked, especially this being 99, a stronger narrative of the new year. I think that could have been, I mean, it's such a layup in terms of what we could get, and a reason for someone having a camera and chronicling the night. I think that should have been the frame narrative throughout. It was such a miss. I thought that was going to be what we were getting into, especially going into 99. I thought most of these were going to be circling around the new year. So that was certainly a surprise. But I think this one has certainly a couple of strong installments, but that frame narrative really struck me as rather weak.
Yeah, I gotta agree with you there. The frame narrative did not grip me. I kind of forgot about it. Once we got back to it, I was like, oh yeah, okay. I didn't realize this is our wraparound story or whatever. Suicide bit, I did want to talk about that. I really liked like how kind of like it got into arachnophobia a little bit as well as claustrophobia and kind of played on a lot of those more like sort of common fears that somebody could have. But yeah, it wasn't as great. I actually did like the Gawkers a lot too. I love the Medusa kind of aspect of it. My buddy Max was like, or no, I think it was actually Jake. He was like, you can kind of see how predictable they can be sometimes. And that's how I felt about in Gawkers, it ended up being Medusa. Like they were like, man, those stone statue heads. I was like, Medusa turned out to be Medusa. So that was kind of cool. It paid off for me. I liked it.
Yeah, I will admit this is not the strongest entry, but I think it's certainly not the worst. I think that Helen Back is such an impressive and fun and honestly just wild skit that it makes up a lot for me. But I also have to agree that I did like Gawkers a lot. I think that one is very, like, again, kind of playing with some different stuff. I think that it's one of those things where it's like, it's because we don't really get a lot of that mythical kind of Medusa-y kind of stuff throughout a lot of this. Like it does feel like they're going down a different kind of like avenue. But like also I'm a fan of things like what Ozzy's Dungeon is, where it's just this creepy, strange kind of game show, like nostalgia trip kind of thing. Like I thought that was a lot of fun. This is one that I have yet to revisit since the first time I watched it, though. So I will have to go around and give it another spin. But I think when I first watched it, I was still pretty happy with it. But also, I got to remember that I was watching these kind of in a quicker succession because I was trying to get through all of them. So it's one of those things for me where it's like this just might have kind of blended in where it's like not the worst, definitely not as bad as Viral. Viral is just a hard one for me to get through as a whole. So, but I definitely have some respect for 99. But I do admit it is not the best.
Yeah, it's not like it's trash or anything. It's only a little worse than Viral for me.
100%. But that brings us to VHS 85, and we'll throw it over to Luke here. What did you think, sir, of VHS 85? This one, I remember being real excited for it, trying to get a screener for it, and I remember when I finally watched it, I was just like, there's a lot of big names attached to this, and I think you can really tell just like where a lot of their hearts were going for and what they were going to. Like, yeah, you could really see that there was a lot of familiar tropes with some of the things the directors who were in charge picked.
And when we had started this, I remember talking about VHS 2 and not really saying I hadn't seen a lot of the segments in there and really just picking out what I'm forgetting what it's called, but the biker in the woods and the zombie, whatever that one's called. I had forgotten that I specifically sought out Mike P. Nelson's and what is it, Ambrosia, and let me see what the other one's called. What is it?
No Wake.
No Wake, yes, because they tied in together. It was when in preparation for we were going to be talking about Silent Night, Deadly Night, and wanted to get other than the Wrong Turn. I wanted to see what else he had done, and I remember seeing those two tie in, and I really enjoy seeing two different stories tie in the way that they do. It was really unexpected for me in terms of being in the lake and being resurrected. I thought that was an interesting take, and the way that they tie it into Ambrosia, I thought was rather creative. So I do like those two segments. Dreamkill is another one. Scott Derrickson. I mean, come on, that one's got such a great. You're unsettled the way that they approach that one. The only thing I didn't like necessarily about that one is the Gunther character. I thought it was just kind of like, okay, we got to make him kind of this. He almost looks like a character rather than an actual believable person. But I love that story arc in what we do get there and how they tie it into the Black Phone, of course.
Yeah.
So I thought that was a lot of fun. What they do there. Oh, what was the frame narrative on this one? I'm totally forgetting.
The like wraparound
alien creature.
Yeah.
No.
Is this with Rory? Yes, the Rory shape-shifting.
Yes. Okay,
creature.
my bad.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
yeah.
When you said alien, I was thinking of the next one.
I thought that was fun as well.
Yeah.
I think that, you know, chronicling Rory and what he is, and especially what we get with that conclusion, I think that was a great frame narrative. It was a God of Death. That one, and what was the other one?
You're talking about the
TK and
TKNG
yeah,
NGDO or whatever. Yeah.
those two didn't necessarily hit as much as I was hoping that they would, especially
Right there with you.
looking at the other strong segments of there. It just kind of felt like, okay, those two are a little more forgettable of this one, but overall, this one, Mike P. Nelson, Scott Derrickson, that frame narrative, those really hit for me.
Yeah, I was not the biggest fan of TKNOGD. That one
seemed to drag for
yeah,
a hot minute.
Yeah, she was just, you know, I didn't know what was going on. There's a lot of trippy visuals, you know.
The God of Technology that whole thing is kind of like a tough. It was
a reach.
It was one that was like, it was kind of tough to swallow. It feels like they took a really big leap with that one, and like I felt like it was kind of like in Beyond. We'll talk about one that just feels very out of place from everything else, but you know, we've kind of come to expect that with the series. They always have one that kind of seems to set itself apart. But I do have to say I did like God of Death a lot. I like how that one just kind of strikes you out of nowhere with the earthquake and everything. Like, you have no idea that's coming, and then everything else that they do with it, and how it just takes so many twists and turns, like one right after another. It's like I had no clue where we were going through that one.
And that one, you know, I thought was funny because I hadn't watched this one just yet. And Dylan, you were working on that list of different concepts of for VHS films, and I was talking to my wife about it. And I was like, one of the ones that I would have loved to have seen was like, if you have this kind of giant catastrophe like this, like taking that concept of what people say with like Cloverfield, where what do you do for like a Cloverfield 2? And it's like, well, it's same incident, just different people. And it'd be like, if the VHS frame narrative was this big catastrophe opening up something in the earth or whatever, and it's the entire concept is same instance, just different, going throughout different instances of people dealing with those, so they're encountering like different things like the mist or whatever, something like that. I thought would have been interesting. So when this one popped up, I was like, okay, they kind of, this would be an interesting way to kind of make an entire VHS concept of.
Yeah. Adrian, how are you feeling about 85?
85 potentially could be my favorite of all the ones I've seen so far.
Damn.
Yeah, I really loved No Wake. I really loved how sudden all the shots started ringing out, and just like, I thought everybody was dead, and then they got up. You know, I really loved that.
No Wake is crazy. Like, it's wild to me that that's the first one they start off with. It's like, because obviously we have David Bruckner doing Total Copy, the prologue. He's kind of doing the whole frame narrative thing, which, you know, that's its own thing. But then going right into No Wake is like, holy shit. Like, when they just started shooting people, it's like, fuck.
I didn't know where they were going with that one when I initially watched it, and then when they all wake up, I was like, holy hell. Mm-hmm. I love the way they went with that one.
I was so confused when it ended, and then when it wrapped back around into the Ambrosia skit, you know, I was like, I love that. I loved every part of it. As soon as they were like, you know, here in our family, we worship the 7 or whatever, I was like, hey, wasn't there a 7 on that camper earlier? Wait a minute, that camper, the squirt gun. Hold on now. And then, it ended up working out for him.
Yeah, although I have to say, I think Dream Killer is probably my favorite, just because it does, you know, tie in a little bit to the Black Phone. It's Scott Derrickson. I love him. I do really like what Mike P. Nelson did with this. I think it was really smart to have him do 2 of them, and just kind of like really take you by, because I don't think we've had we've had directors come back and do multiple. Did we have anybody do 2 in 1?
No.
Or is he the first? Because I think he's the first one to do that.
Yep, and I don't think there's any sort of connective tissue, right, in any of the stories segments other than these 2 here. I don't think, right? There's nothing 2 separate directors did that tie in together. I think this is really the only one that has a callback in any sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's one of those ones for me where it's just like I think this one's probably in my top like 5. This one might sit at like a number 4 for me. If I'm being like wholeheartedly honest, I still put 94 above this one. I don't want to spoil it. I put Beyond above this one. I put Halloween above this one. So it's like, there's still some ones I like a lot more in here, but this one I think is where you can really tell they started to find their footing again with this reboot. 94 was a great punch back. They faltered a little bit with 99, but 85 I personally felt, and some people weren't crazy about this one when it came out. I don't get that. I think it's a very solid entry. So it's like, for me, I think that this is one that I like to go back to and watch the segments from here. They feel very, unique in the sense where it's like they're always unique, but like these ones feel a little bit more special, I think, also because the tech is a bit older, so it's a bit more noticeable.
I really loved Dream Kill. I feel like that skit, I said a lot of great things about Ambrosia and No Wake, but Dream Kill is really up there too. It really made me feel like I was watching that movie as opposed to a VHS film. It completely immersed me in the story. Storytelling was great. I love the twists. I love the characters they introduced, and the sound design was impeccable. The second murder, I'm never going to forget that beat.
You need to watch The Black Phone, and you need to watch Sinister. I'm telling you need to watch those.
Got to put those on my little list here.
Yeah, because if you like this one, you're really going to like this. I think Luke would probably agree with me on that.
Oh, 100%. It's got the same vibe. A lot of, Scott Derrickson doesn't really miss in terms of horror at all that I can think of. And, for me, it's like Dream Kill, I think as a standalone is easily the strongest segment. I think Ambrosia and No Wake gets bonus points just because as a pair, those two, I think that story works. But again, if you're judging them as a pair, they get an even longer runtime. Dream Kill, I love that concept of using that VHS and having a dream and then it popping up on there. It's just one of those interesting elements about horror, and I could easily see this one. This would fit into a feature-length film if you wanted to do something like that. That Dream Kill is such a strong concept, and I love that kind of what we get, the conclusion, because it's so interesting, and they don't shy away from how much gore we have in this. So Dream Kill is probably one of the strongest segments, I think, out of the entire franchise, to be honest.
I would say so as well. I think Scott Derrickson was really cooking. You can tell that him and C. Robert Cargill were just like, they had the high from Black Phone carry over into this one. Like, you can tell they were still hot on that, and their collaboration there, that they were like, let's just keep this moving. Yeah. And I love that about it. Because again, Black Phone, say what you will about it, I adore that movie. I am eagerly anticipating the sequel, and I hope that it only disappoints me slightly. So just like any good sequel does. But yeah, no, I like it a lot. I know we're getting a lot of love from Erica on this one. She says it's her favorite one out of them all so far. And I love that. Because again, I think people were a little harsh on this one when it first came out. Viral, I think, just is very bland. It's the most bland, I think, out of all of them. Like, we were harsh on 99 a little bit, but like, I think that, I know Adrian disagrees. I think that Viral is certainly worse than 99, but I guess I can't argue with it. They are the weaker ones.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. The wraparound story in Viral was,
well, hell yeah. I'm glad, Erica. I'm glad you got to watch these. And yeah, this is great to have Luke and Adrian experiencing this whole thing with us as well. Yes, Dream Kill's awesome, and yes, watch Sinister. Sinister, definitely love that movie. All right. Now we get to the big dog. All right, the one, the only VHS Beyond. There was a lot of hype for this one. What's up?
I hate how much hype you just built on this, because this is the only one I wasn't able to watch.
Oh no.
We've already
reviewed
you
guys.
I'm kidding. Well, I am
He's done.
I'm sorry, Adrian. I think we will talk a little bit of spoilers here, but hopefully this will encourage you to go back and watch it, because I think this is definitely, in my opinion, Second best of all of them. I fucking love Beyond. I think that this one was such a strong like direction to take this series, and it has one of my all-time favorite segments with fur babies. Just disgusting, macabre, exciting, different. Really just impressed the hell out of me. And I get, of course, I love Justin Long, but like he really brought his A game with that one.
I 100% agree. We did a review on this one. This was my introduction into the VHS franchise as a whole, and we got to experience that one last year. And man, Fur Babies is one of my all-time favorites. It still holds up, even going through the entire franchise now and seeing everything. Fur Babies, so off-putting, so weird, and it works so well. And it's when you put in like top 5 segments you're just going to revisit, Fur Babies is easily in there. It's always one of the tops of the list. And man, I can't believe this was directed and written, co-written, co-directed by Justin Long. What a great concept in disgusting. It's just so gross, but in all the most lovely ways. And I'm excited for this one for Adrian to see this. I'm trying to be a little bit vague on this one.
I know. This one especially. It's so good, Adrian.
It's like
so good.
Why don't we go through these ones and be a little bit vague so Adrian can catch up next week and we can kind of.
Yeah, at least we'll start the show by getting his opinion on that. But also, I mean, Erica did bring up a good thing. Discord watch party. I mean, I know you just watched it, Luke, but I would sit down and watch. I haven't rewatched this one yet.
I would sit down and watch this one again.
Okay, because I said they're kind of a breeze, but like Adrian, if we want to plan something for this upcoming week, maybe like a Friday night or Saturday sometime, whatever is best for everybody, we can plan that out and we could do a VHS Beyond watch party.
I'm down, dude.
Down.
I'm on Discord,
I'd love to catch Adrian's live reaction to Fur Babies.
Yeah.
But not even just that. Again, you're right. We have to be vague because this dude is going to fucking love Stork.
Stork, oh my god! Like an adrenaline rush that the way that segment is just filmed and the way we go through it, and then the payoff that we get at the end of that. When we talk about just like so much fun lore, and for this to be the opening segment, and honestly, like the introduction for me in terms of segments to take me on this journey, I was like, I'm all in.
It's such a wild fucking movie, dude.
And I had that. I talked about in a review for Halloween where it's like I kept going, "This is my favorite. This is my favorite." And I was like, coming out of Stork, I was like, I don't think anything that I'm going to see in Beyond is going to top what I just saw. And it's like, and then you have something like Fur Babies come along. It's like, what the hell? But Stork, such a strong installment.
I know it's that and Fur Babies, but then I also love like just going completely in the other direction with Stowaway, which is such a different kind of short film for this. I mean, I know it's like written or at least co-written by Mike Flanagan, and obviously this one had a lot riding on it because we had we've had I think we should say it up front here. We had people like Jordan Downey did Stork, Mike Flanagan helped write Stowaway, Justin Long, Christian Long, so like two brothers there. But like there's a lot of big names here, and like the thing that like I was pretty excited to see, I know going into this, was Kate Siegel actually taking the director's chair instead of Mike Flanagan, which is, for those of you who don't know, that's his wife. She's in everything he does and she's fantastic. But that was one of those ones where it was like, I did not expect it, and I probably should have, because it's Mike Flanagan, for it to be such a more personal, cerebral, like just kind of almost like the scariest part about it is the fact that it's taken so seriously, and it's not played for laughs. There's nothing fun about it. It's just simply that happens, and we get to watch this human effect happen to it. It's very strange.
It's a bit draining, I think, in a good way. And especially when you look at the concept of Beyond, this one did catch me off guard from what we do get going throughout this entire installment, and then what we get with Stowaway just feels a little bit different, and what they leave us on with it feels a little bit more draining than the rest of the ones, because like something like Stork is weird, but in a very fun way. Fur Babies is off-putting, but also has a fun element to it, where Stowaway just kind of is a little bit jarring, I think, especially what we get in terms of the conclusion of that, and it kind of makes you a little bit sad. I think is the way that that's approached, but such an interesting lore and really intriguing concept for that one. I think it's really well done, just a little bit different than the rest of the segments in Beyond, but I think it works really well, and like I said, very, very intriguing and different than what we do get with the rest of them.
Yeah, and Erica just beat me to it, because I was gonna say the next one that I know I really want to talk about is this, and yeah, she mentions it, so we can talk a little bit about it. But Adrian, there's a skydiving one in here that is so crazy. Like, you talk about that one, oh god, from '94, the first person one, The Subject.
Oh yeah.
This one is very similar to that, in the sense of, this is one that just goes from 0 to 100 and never stops, and it is wild. It's a little bit like CG heavy, and definitely probably the broadest concept, like the biggest action movie one that we get. But like, dude, this one's a banger. I think this one's a lot of fun, and I think it's the ballsiest of them. It's crazy, because I think the guy who did this one too, if I'm not mistaken, he was like an editor or something, or like a VFX artist on all of these, and for Live and Let Dive. Benjamin
was he
A.
really?
Turner. Let me see. He did something with this franchise.
This one, again, really heavy on the concept. I love it. It's an adrenaline rush again, and what we were saying, I was not even prepared for. I love the concept here. It's so original. It has that funness to it, but also it gets rather crazy, and really falls in line with Beyond. I don't know. This one is really fun too. We go into concepts of what I really enjoyed, it's like Live and Let Die was another one that I was like, oh, that one could be a contender for my favorite of segment wise. So how many are in there? 5 total.
I
It's
think
like
so. Yeah, it's 5.
Again, 4 really strong ones that I really, really loved.
And I don't hate Dream Girl. I think Dream Girl just it's just another one that it's not bad. It's just, it feels very out of place.
Very out of place. Especially with the ride that we're on. If this was more of a grab bag in terms of quality, maybe it wouldn't stick out as much. But I remember sitting down watching this and thinking, that one just doesn't feel right in what I just watched throughout all these. And then revisiting it, it still sticks out to me. Like, it just doesn't feel in line with everything else that we see.
Yeah, it's definitely the one that's just kind of meh, but again, it's not terrible. I feel the exact same way about this one as I did Paco Plaza's.
Yes. Yep, exactly.
One where it's like, it's not bad. It's pretty good, but it's just kind of like, it's okay. It's weird. Strangely enough, yeah, Erica makes a good point here. The same way as Gawker's, were just a bit different. I don't know. I think Gawker, just because there's a few in 99 that aren't nearly as strong, so it's kind of like you kind of lean into that one, just being the wilder kind of strange concept. So I think it works there. But like for this one, it's just like the others are just so fucking strong. Honestly, I wouldn't blame anybody for feeling like this one is more entertaining than something like Stowaway, but I feel like Stowaway is just like, when you talk about VHS Beyond, or just, aliens and kind of that whole thing in general, I think like Stowaway and the wraparound segment hits on the scary kind of unknown mystery side of it. And that's why I think those ones are so strong. I think that's why they stick around.
Yeah, Stowaway's like, it has that off-putting thing. Like I said, you feel a little bit emotionally drained with it, and I think it's a right journey to take you on, especially with Beyond, and you see so many that are fun, and Stowaway's not that much fun, just in a good way, because it takes its concept a little more serious, I think. Whereas Dream Girl, I don't know, it just felt it still feels out of place. It feels a little bit basic to me, I guess, in terms of how many unique concepts that we do get throughout Beyond. And if it was placed in a not such a strong installment, I don't think I'd have a problem with it. It's like Paco Plazas, where it's like it's fine. If it was in a different installment, I don't think it would stick out as much to me. But just juxtaposing them up with so many different strong segments throughout Beyond, it just left me a little underwhelmed, I guess.
Yeah, it's definitely the one that I think is the oddball of them all. But again, it's not the worst. It's definitely it's got its place. And I think like I warmed up to this more the second time I watched this as opposed to the first time, because I knew what to expect. But I think like it's certainly the one that I think most people will walk away saying to when it comes to these. Because again, this is just such a strong entry. Like it's really tough. I think like Halloween only edges this out for me because I think I am such a fanboy of Halloween and I love any time I can get a holiday horror film centered around Halloween. It's just a huge plus, but like they are neck and neck with this one. And honestly, like after talking about Beyond, I could even sit here and say that's my definitive favorite. But then I could probably watch Halloween again and watch Fun Size and just be like, holy shit, that's amazing.
Yeah, there's such strong concepts because I think they make use of them so well and they find so much fun within that concept of it that I think these two are always going to be fighting for that top spot. So it's like, yeah, seeing Halloween, seeing so many great segments throughout that, I can say, okay, that's my favorite. But after a fresh watch of Beyond, it can easily make the case of it's like 1A, 1B, honestly, because they're both so good.
100%. But what is up, Mr. Davey Deathray in the chat? What's going on, my boy? How you doing? Hope you're enjoying your spooky season so far. Yeah, I mean, you popped in right at the last second here because we just finished up talking about VHS Beyond. And yeah, guys, that's going to kind of wrap us up for our VHS review series here. We did it again. We have made it to the end of another found footage horror series. Now, I really like doing this. So I think next week maybe we'll decide we'll finish this up with I do think we should do that watch party. So I'll get with Erica tomorrow over Discord and we'll figure out what might be a good day and we'll make sure to pimp that out and we'll get some people in there. For that, I think that would be great to see Adrian's reaction to some of those. But I also think next week we should pick another series to dive into, or at least another movie or something, because like I really like this. I think it's a lot of fun. I think we'll throw some options out, let you guys decide our fates, and yeah, I think that'd be pretty cool. Gracie says ABCs of Death. That'd be a short one. There's only 2 movies, so we could do that in one show if we wanted to. But like I really like doing this. I think they're great fun, and it helps us break up the news a little bit.
No, I hate seeing new films, so I am jumping off the train here.
Shot by shot, don't tempt us. Don't tempt us. Adrian's in for a world of hurt, but don't tempt us.
Leprechaun.
Yeah, he's lucky though. That's another one we both have, I think, on our voodoos.
Yeah,
because we got the
collection.
The collection was big on. Oh yeah, the new No, mine does. Because I got the reissue when I went because I was still working at the exchange. So when they reissued that with returns, I ended up getting returns.
Oh, I have returns. I don't have Origin Leprechaun. Was it
yours didn't come with Leprechaun Origin?
I don't think so, but I've stayed away from it. So maybe it's on there and I just don't know that. So I'll have to look.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Because I was gonna say Origin came out long before Returns, so that'd be surprising. Saw series, Wishmaster. I've never seen the Wishmaster movies.
I think I've seen some of the first one, but yeah, I don't know too much of the concept either.
Yeah. I think we'll save Saw. I don't want to put Luke through that. That's a long process, and he is not a big fan of a lot of those.
That is true.
Oh, yeah. We got to do Sinister and VHS Halloween for Adrian. Yeah, that'd be great. I mean, I think we'll do Beyond this upcoming week, but that would be another good one. Maybe like as we get closer to Halloween, we should do a Sinister watch party, and Adrian should watch that because I think that would be a great one to expose him to. That's one of my recent favorites from just like, again, I always like, I'm so happy I revisited that movie when I did, because it's like quickly climbing the ranks as one of my favorite horror films of all time.
So well done.
Yeah, I'm down, man. I'm starting to really love this VHS series and the randomness and like
Dude.
just I never know what to expect.
Hopefully next year we get another one. I pitched plenty of them, and if you guys have not seen that video, please watch it. I'm going to be posting a Marty McFly meme here about. I guess you guys aren't ready for that one yet because that video did so poorly. But no, I know most of you in the chat have probably watched it because y'all are the best. But it just YouTube was not ready for that one. So I will not be deterred. I will keep going with it, and I will keep making little pitches and things. They're too fun to do. But yeah, I think there's some potential there. We got to get this in front of what's his name? The guy who's like the main producer on these.
That one guy.
You son of a bitch.
Let's see here.
Where's his name? His name is
not Brad, is it?
No, I think it's Josh Goldblum.
There we go. Yep, I think that is it.
Yeah, he's been doing them. Yeah, that's right. He does all of them since '94. He's been a part of that. He's also producing Night Patrol, which I'm hoping we get to see soon.
It's got CM Punk in it. I'm excited.
I know, and Justin Long. So, and that's Flying Lotus is in there as well. Who directed that? Ryan Prowse. What'd you do, Ryan? Oh, he did the Segment Terror from '94. That's awesome. And wait, did Low Life? Oh, that's not the same one. Okay, never mind. But yeah, no, that's super fun stuff. Definitely love it. Yes, Penelope's got me. VHS Cryptids is a no-brainer. That's got to happen. I know. And if they do it, I want to direct the wraparound segment. I got it. I figured it out. It was after I recorded the video, but I figured it out. So if I do a follow-up, I'll be revisiting that because I think that's a fun one. The one that seems to be surprising me the most out of that video, though, that's getting a lot of love is VHS Deep. I thought that I was like, I always talk about my thalassophobia in our videos like that. I feel like I bring it up constantly. And I thought people were going to be sick and tired of that. But it seems like every comment, people are like, oh, that's a great one. That'd be a cool one. That's an awesome one. And it is cool. I just think that one would take so much money to do if you wanted to do it convincingly. But you could play with it. You could do some stuff. I think like Andrew Truckee, he's the guy behind The Reef and the Blackwater films. He knows how to make those water monster movies with a strict budget. He could do it.
Time will tell.
All right. But yeah, that's it. Anything you guys want to leave off with? Anything? I feel like I've been talking forever. So
no, I don't think so. I mean, like we said, we got a busy week ahead and a couple lists and things coming out.
Yeah, if all goes well, I think we're on track. You should have two this week, two big ones, because I got that one that I had to delay because my software sucks, but just ran into a couple issues. And then Luke's got one coming up on Friday. So you'll have two. Basically, if you love gore and you love disturbing stuff, you're going to love this. So it's going to be a good week for y'all. So stay tuned. And then, yeah, I think the next week we have Black Phone. So
yeah,
that's
we got a couple of reviews coming out as well.
I know. Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah. We gotta hop on those too. So, all righty, guys. Well, that's gonna wrap us up here. So, no movie to watch for next week. We'll just do like a standard episode. I'll try to get like a guest on or something, and we'll just have some fun there. And then, yeah, we will coordinate. I will drop community posts, Patreon, and Discord for the actual watch party. Erica's kindly offered to help me figure that out because I'm still new to this whole Discord thing and she's got it on lock. So she's going to help me out and we're going to get that figured out and we'll make it happen. So, all righty, guys. So until next time, I'm Dylan Newell.
I'm Luke Chinesco.
And Bottom Guy.
And remember, stay scared.
Do the horse shit, gonna do it live. Cause Splattercast kick it every day they live.